My top photography tip is making sure you get good quality light in your photo, whether that's daylight and exposing correctly or flash and exposing correctly. Everything else comes from that. If you don't have good light, you don't have a good photo. My name is Pearce. I'm 33 years old from Sydney and I'm a food photographer. What first got me into food photography and photography was my dad was a photographer, part-time, and I picked up his camera. It was a digital camera, and then I went to uni, and this is where my food photography started. I did a cookbook with a fellow student, and we shot 8 different restaurants with 8 different chefs and then a whole bunch of dishes. And I was 18 and then did that cookbook and moved to Sydney after that. And I've been chasing food photography ever since. What camera I'm using the Nikon D750. I'm using it because it has a good resolution, about 24 megapixels, and it's light compared to some of the bigger Nikon cameras. The reason why I use Nikon is because when I bought them at the time, they were the best money for resolution, which in food photography is important because you want to get as much detail as you can. And I swapped from Canon, which were very good as well, and I could swap to Sony in the future, but at the time, Nikon was the best for what I needed. My favorite lens for my Nikon is my 60mm macro lens. It's 2.8, it's very sharp, and it's 1:1, so I can get really close, and I don't need to get with my 100mm lens, I have to get quite far back, and a lot of the time I don't have a lot of space, so I like that I can get really close and get that 1:1 ratio between me and the object. So the lights that I use are Profoto, and the reason why I use them is because they're really reliable, quick to set up, and portable. So my typical shoot on a food shoot would be a small Profoto umbrella with a diffuser, and then a B1 or a B2 head off to the side of the food with a white or black card reflector for when I need it. My thoughts on the A1 is that it's amazing that such a small light can be the same as the bigger lights, and with the diffusers and modifiers you can essentially get the same results that you were with the bigger B1 or the bigger B2s. And the way that the A1s work with the B1s and the B2s is so great for a photographer like me, because I know that I can go on a shoot and take what I need in terms of size and portability, and the A1s is great for that. A must-have for food photography for me is an umbrella, preferably with a diffuser, so you can have that nice soft light, as most of my food photography is shot at night time, not at daytime. The funniest story I had on a food shoot was at a restaurant, an unnamed restaurant in Sydney, and I was shooting a dish and there were 2 people behind, and the waiter came up and said to me, they've asked if you may not shoot them. And I said, why? I said, well, that lady and that lady are on a date, but they both have husbands. My advice for a beginner food photographer would be practice. So if you want to be a food photographer, get some food, get your camera, get your flash or your window light, and just practice. You're going to make a lot of mistakes initially, so practice and look at it, change it up, show it to friends, they like it, keep doing that. But the main thing is practice makes perfect. I was told when I first started working that if you shoot every day, you're going to get better, as opposed to shooting once a week.